What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about the Xbox Partner Showcase that just finished, because this was about a 25-minute video they just posted onto their YouTube channel that had roughly 15 new games, including DLC, completely big reveals, and some stuff that genuinely deeply blew my mind. But let's talk about it, because even if you don't own an Xbox, let's face it, a lot of these games are also coming to the PlayStation 5, so let's talk about what's coming soon to your Sony system. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So what I did is I recorded the entire video, I downloaded it. So what we're going to do is we're going to show some gameplay here and talk about all 15 of the games, which ones looked good, which ones looked bad. But let's start with the Alan Wake 2 DLC. So we knew the Lake House was coming out, but we didn't exactly know what it was going to be. Alan Wake 2 is a game I absolutely loved. I'm a huge fan of Remedy, and the fact that they managed to make a game that was so spooky instead of just generally cerebral like their other projects certainly has me excited. But their other piece of DLC for Alan Wake 2 was fun, but this one seems to be much more, even more so, leaning into the horror than the main game did. I see zombies and ghosts. It looks like we're referencing stuff in Control. Now, Remedy did say their next project is going to be Control 2, so it seems like this DLC is leading directly into that, and I'm definitely excited for it. This trailer looked incredibly good, coming out October 22nd. Next up, though, was a new game by Bloober Team, which I must admit doesn't even make sense. I mean, they just dropped freaking Silent Hill 2 Remake, 5 days ago, and it's already sold 1 million copies. Apparently, Bloober Team has been incredibly busy. Now, this trailer doesn't make a lot of sense. There's like a super old lady playing chess against a guy in like a bloody spacesuit, and then when she wins at chess, he kills her, but it seems to be like a third-person shooter with some sort of messed up alien monster hybrid things. It looks very survival horror. Now, after having just played a bunch of Silent Hill 2 Remake, I am incredibly confident in the skills of Bloober Team. This is coming out next year at some point, and is a vague 2025 release date. Apparently the game is called Chronos: The New Dawn, so maybe we're going to get some sort of time travel hijinks. It has a very Hideo Kojima vibe to it, like just this early vague teaser trailer. Next up, there was this game called Blindfire. I've heard other people talk about it, but I'd never seen it. This came out today. It's like a first-person shooter, but with like no light. There's no visuals whatsoever. Instead, everything is glowy, or there will be like lights on the environment. Apparently, the whole idea is to have like a very strange, cool tone piece first-person shooter. This trailer did nothing for me. I think it's that there's just so many free-to-play first-person shooters now that they're all kind of blended together. Even good ones, I'm kind of at this point looking at it and going, yep, there's another game that's going to be filled with battle passes and microtransactions that, and no story. I'm not really going to get involved with that. Next up was the Yakuza pirate game. Now, Sega had showed this off before, but I think this is the trailer that finally actually won me over. So it's called Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. It is an adventure game where we're playing as Goro Majima from the Yakuza games, but he's gotten amnesia, washed up on an island, and decided to be a pirate. This looks hilarious. I'm still not fully sure I'm going to buy it, just because the last couple Yakuza games, the last couple Like a Dragon games, as fun as they were, I do feel like I'm kind of getting tired of that storyline because I've been following it now. I've been playing Yakuza games for like the last decade pretty hardcore, and I think for whatever reason, maybe I'll still play it, but even as good as that trailer is, I'm still not fully sold on how bizarre it is. Next up, Mouse Detective. So this is called Mouse PI for Hire. It's a first-person shooter with what seems to be completely hand-drawn art, and I like the idea of like a 2D sprites in a 3D shooter. So it uses like that old school look of like Mickey Mouse, and I think it looks really, really good. Also, I'm not sure this has been on console before, so all these trailers ended with the thing saying coming to Xbox, but I'm sure a lot of these are also coming to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch, but this one does look really, really good. There's some stuff in this that I definitely am going to buy. Mouse PI for Hire is a game I definitely want to buy just because it does look so unique. Next up, we had some games that I'm definitely the least a fan of. Subnautica 2 is getting early access next year. They released a spooky CGI trailer. I have a lot of friends that are into Subnautica, and we used to have these like VR parties at my house where we'd put on a VR headset and play different games, and sometimes they'd boot up Subnautica because it is so spooky. I've just never really been a fan of survival games, and I'm also not a big fan in general of like the ocean, so the idea of an ocean survival game, I'm not the target demographic of it, but I do feel like that is going to be a very big success. They also revealed some new anime game called Eden Zero. I have no idea what that's about. Also, Animal Well, which is already free on the PlayStation 5, is now coming to Xbox. It's out today. Yay. I mean, I'm glad that games are eventually trickling over to Xbox. Now, here was one that actually looked good until they explained what it was. It was called Mistfall Hunter. It almost looks like a Dark Souls style game, but much more based in Viking mythology. So instead of having your typical like beasties, it's got a lot more like creepy, mythological kind of falling apart vibe to it. Everything looks very much constructed from animal bones and monsters that are half constructed, animal pelts and stuff like that. I like the idea of it, but they said it's a Souls-like extraction game. Now, I have not played a lot of extraction games, but the ones I have, I just don't like the concept. Something about trying to like take a certain amount of stuff into a war zone, fighting and then trying to evac. It's just not a gameplay loop that really entices me. It's just not a gameplay loop that to me feels fun. But if you're into extraction games and Souls-likes, I guess that'll be good. Now, Phantasmagoria is the horror magazine. Phantasmophobia is coming to Xbox. I'm not sure if this has come to console previously, but me and my bros have played that quite a bit on PC. It is extremely fun. It's like a ghost hunting game where you take particular tools out of like a cabinet. So you have like a EKG meter or a sound sensor and stuff like that, and you're trying to figure out what kind of ghost is in a house before it kills everybody. The game, anybody who's played it knows it's incredibly fun. So the fact that this is coming to Xbox, good on them for finally putting it on consoles. Now, the other game I didn't particularly love was something that was called Eternal Strands. Now, the reason I didn't like it is it looked kind of generic. It just did not really seem to be that good. The motto of the game apparently is burn the world, burn everything. Something about it just doesn't look very heavy. Like, one of the things I like about big weapon games like Monster Hunter, or when I'm using like a great sword and something like Elden Ring, is that sense of impact and weight. Something about Eternal Strands looks too light. It looks too, I don't know, airy and incomplete. Now, obviously, it's an early trailer. It's like the first time they've revealed it, so maybe it's going to get a lot better. I'm just saying my initial impressions of it, it does not look very enticing to me. Now, the last two games they showed both looked 10 out of 10, but the last thing they ended with was such a surprise, I truly did not even know how to comprehend it. Now, I began this video saying I'm a big fan of Remedy games and Alan Wake and Control. I mean, I loved everything they've done, but specifically Alan Wake and Control are big things to me. They're doing a Control multiplayer game. It's co-op. It's called FBC Firebreak. This looks incredible. I am so mind blown. I cannot even possibly fathom it. So if you played Control, you're going through this big building with this character named Jessie Faden. And as she's exploring it, she keeps finding different weird, magically charged relics. You find like a disc that lets you fly and a gun that actually recharges by absorbing energy and matter and grenade launchers and stuff. But what's good about Control is that it always definitely implied that there's other crazy stuff in the Federal Bureau of Control, the FBC. So the fact that now we're going to have an entire game running around with friends in the FBC, that sounds extremely cool. Like, what the heck? Now, the other game they showed at the end of this was called Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Now, I've seen Xbox people talk about this. I've seen like tweets saying the name. I'd never seen this before in my life, so to me, it is brand new. Maybe they showed this at a previous Xbox showcase and it slipped in my mind. It's like a Japanese Dark Souls, which I know is ironic because Dark Souls is already Japanese. But what I mean is that it seems much more based in Japanese mythology. Now, I'm not really like a weeaboo or whatever, but, you know, I always find Japanese mythology to be incredibly interesting because their monsters, their ghosts, their legends are, I don't know, they're so strange. A lot of their monster designs and stuff are just so messed up looking. This game looks extremely fun. I'm pretty good at Dark Souls games, but some of them do completely kick my ass. This is one that I now have my eyes on 100%. Like, it's one of those times where I feel like when it comes to these partner showcases, the whole purpose is to get you to buy a console or buy games on their console, right? But this is the kind of thing where the trailer, I didn't know about it at all. And the second I saw it, I knew this is a game that's going to be my new freaking addiction. And I love that about it. Overall, I think this partner showcase was not too bad. I think it had some games I didn't really just stick with, but it did its job in that it enticed me to check out all of these games. Well, for the most part, maybe not the free-to-play stuff or the too overly anime thing like Eden Zero, but I am definitely on board for pretty much all of these games, but specifically, I'm really down for that Control game, a Control multiplayer game. What the heck? But what did you guys think about the Xbox Partner Showcase, and how did this strike you? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Man, God, Alan Wake is such a good game. If you haven't played Alan Wake 2, please buy it. Any console, any platform, buy it. My God, that game blew my mind. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.